Alright guys, just a quick video going over the assembly for the DIY pedestal kit. When you open the box, you're going to have your base plate, your hardware, and a drill guide. You will be providing your own post. You'll make that. We recommend a 4x4 post. And then if depending on what you're mounting, you'll have the modular deer hook or the featherlock turkey mount. It's going to be the same install, just minus one screw for the featherlock mount. What you'll need to provide is a drill, a 4mm Allen key, a 5/64 Allen key, a 1/4" drill bit, and then just a small bit for pilot holes. It doesn't need to be a specific size. We just use a small one to pilot hole for the drill. And then marker and adhesive are optional, but we'll go in depth on that. So the first thing is we start with the getting the holes drilled. I prefer to do this before staining or finishing the wood, but completely up to you. I like to cut a chamfer in the back. This is the front. That's for my purposes. Obviously, you'll be building your own. But with that being said, we have our drill guide here. The single hole will face the front. Like this, I said, this is the front side. So we'll be placing that single hole up front. We have this drill guide cut to right around that 4x4 mark, which is, if you're buying from Home Depot, it's usually right around the 3.5 by 3.5 inches. But we'll start by marking the holes. These don't need to be perfect. We cut the holes in the base plate large so that there's some play in there for adjustability, and so you have some play with this. But you'll mark the holes just like that. Then what you want to do is grab your pilot hole bit. I think I'm using like a 3/32, just a small hole, and you want to drill those holes out. As you can see, 1, 2, 3. Next, it's time to drill the 1/4" holes. I usually go about 3/4 inch deep. Okay, 1/4" holes are drilled. 1, 2, 3. This is the front. So next step is putting in the wood inserts. You'll need a 4mm key right here. I put some adhesive on this. That's completely optional. I like to be extra secure. Small dab never hurts. Okay, all the wood inserts are installed. So next step would be either prepping your wood, staining it, whatever you want to do. That would be my next step, because the final step will be installing the deer hook. And we made this simple. So imagine that you already had your wood finished. You'll be installing your deer hook or your featherlock channel. You're just going to use the pre-existing hardware for this. You're not going to use the drywall anchors, but you will use the wood screws. So next step would just be marking holes for this. Obviously, you don't need a guide. We already have right here. It's the 3 countersunk holes. Get that lined up where you'd like. If you want to use a square or something, you can. So we have the 3 holes marked. And then I drill pilot holes once again. These are a little long for this use, so I do the pilot holes so they don't walk. Just like that. So pilot holes are done. We're not doing wood inserts in these, we're just reusing the wood screws. So next step is just installing this. Make sure the holes line up. Grab your Phillips head drill. Alright, then you have that installed. So at this point, either you could have already installed this just to get the holes pre-drilled. If you want to pull this back off and stain, you can, but if you did this after, you're done with the post. Now you just have to mount this to the base plate. The base plate, use these base screws. We do a low profile top, and then we use spacers on the bottom of the base plate so that these don't rub. Once again, single hole goes forward, and you can use either side on the base plate, but you can see that we made these holes large, so you had some adjustment there left to right, and give you some leeway when drilling those holes. We'll use the 5/64 inch Allen key to tighten these. Alright, once you got those all tightened, you'll want to install the rubber bumpers. I just do them in all 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're all done. So bumpers are installed, screws are tight. These bumpers just give you some leeway, to give you some gap clearance for these screws. And you're all done. Obviously, this is an unfinished piece of wood, but yours would be finished to your specifications, and you have a deer mount or the featherlock mount ready to go.